Welcome to Two Guys Garage. Now, you know you've done it. You've been by the GM dealership, you looked at the new Camaro, and you said, I should have it, why can't it?
Well, we didn't buy one today, but we got one on loan, but we're gonna fulfill our dreams of driving one. We got a lot of cool speed parts, some exhaust. We're gonna go through theory on how a V8 really works from the inside out, so stick around. Wiggle it just a little bit. All right, feel the weight of that sucker.
That thing is heavy.
Cool, obviously we're changing our exhaust out. Now, there's a couple of good reasons to do that. Now, first one is just sound quality. You can see the large volume of mufflers we have here. You know, the OEMs are trying to cater to the average customer, the one that doesn't want to necessarily, you know,
have a cool sounding car.
Have a cool sounding car. And so anyway, it doesn't necessarily make it exciting for the rest of us. So sound quality is a good one, and by reducing some of this muffler size, we can get a nice, good, throaty V8 sound.
Who wants a stock exhaust anyway? Really? Come on. All right, so the other thing is obviously weight. You can tell by the strain and the blood vessels that are flowing here. Look at the difference in this heartthrob exhaust muffler compared to the original. So that's what we're going to do today, is install exhaust. So let's go over here to the table and kind of see what's involved with this kit. Now, if you look at the table, you can see all the components are kind of laid out, minus the clamps and whatnot. This is made out of aluminized steel, which is going to be a lot less expensive than stainless, but the tips are made out of stainless. So what people see when they walk up and they look at it is going to be the nice stainless. It's going to stay prime, but the rest is going to be a lot less expensive.
Yeah, so aluminized is a great way to get, you know, a good exhaust system without spending a ton of money. Now, everything's CNC bent. It's all 2.5-inch diameter tubing. And you can see everything's pretty straight with nice, you know, sweeping bends wherever possible. And the mufflers are all straight through. So you're going to get a great flow. You're going to reduce your back pressure, which is something we'll get into when, you know, it affects the engine and your performance. Now, I've got an H-pipe here, so we can blend both sides together, get a nice even flow from that point back. And as you can see, it's real simple. A few connectors and some brackets. Something like this is ready to go in your vehicle in no time.
Yep, when Heartthrob Exhaust engineers these, they make them so they're quick to put in. They don't take a lot of tools. It's literally, you see how fast we pulled ours out. Pull the one out, you put the one in, and you're going to get a lot cooler sound. You're going to get a lot less weight. And so I think at that point, we're about ready to start putting this baby in. And you're going to explain some of the internals of how this works, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right.
Stick around. Now, we're replacing our exhaust system. One of the things it's going to do for the engine is reduce back pressure. Less back pressure, more flow. It makes sense. But let's break down exactly what's going on in this engine, because there's a couple of key things in there that we don't always think about. Now, if we start out, I've got my cylinder here, my piston, my connecting rod. I've got my intake track. My intake valve right now is closed. And I've got my exhaust. I've got my exhaust valve open. I'm coming up on TDC, and I'm pushing out all that hot exhaust. Now, if we start out with our maximum power we can make, it's the air we can get in plus the fuel. So that's essentially the power we can get out of that cylinder. Well, unfortunately, we got to subtract off a few things. So first of which is mechanical friction. So mechanical friction is anything from my ring pack rubbing against my cylinder walls, lubrication getting sheared as things go around and around, alternators, valve train, all that mechanical friction, it makes sense. So that gets subtracted from the power I can make. Well, there's also pumping work or pumping friction. You think, well, what is that? Well, I got air coming in and I got air coming out, but it takes work to actually pull that air in, especially if my throttle's open or closed. It's going to be more or less work pulling it in, and if I got more restriction, I've got more work pushing it out. And it's actually a fairly significant amount, so that's pumping friction. So I've got work subtracting off the power I can make. Well, let's look at density. As the pressure in the exhaust system goes up, and that's what we're trying to reduce, is all back pressure from the exhaust pipes, all the bends and expansion, contractions, all those losses. The density in this entire track will go higher or lower depending on the pressure. Well, if you go all the way back into the cylinder, into the combustion chamber, well, there's hot gas sitting in there. This piston stops here, so it can't push any farther. So all of that is still there. So when that exhaust valve closes, the higher pressure I have in this system, the higher the density, more hot stuff that I can't do anything with. Well, if we look at the cylinder itself, you know, right about here, the stroke of this piston as it comes down defines the displacement. That's the maximum amount of air and fuel that I can get in. So we talk about the efficiency of filling as volumetric efficiency. Tuning can help get more of that in and more of it out. But if I've got stuff in here and it's real dense, as soon as I open up my intake valve, some of that stuff is going to take away from my volumetric efficiency. I want to get numbers like 90, 95, 100 on a race engine, maybe 110%. I want to get more air in here than this cylinder actually holds by trying to stuff it in this region. So the more I have of that, the more stuff I can't get in, which is power. Well, there's another aspect, knock. If this is hot gas, I'm already starting my whole compression with my fresh charge at a hotter temperature. I'm going to knock earlier, and I can't advance my spark. Spark advancement is all about power too. So there's a lot of aspects in here controlling the power just by looking at the back pressure. So I've got pumping friction, I've got volumetric efficiency, and I've got this residual that I got to be concerned about because that's spark. Now there's a lot of wave dynamics in the exhaust. We got some headers coming up. We'll come back and explain how that works in the dynamic form, so stick around.
I have some scratches on my car, but I don't want to take it to the body shop. Is there a way I can fix the scratches myself? All you need is a household drill, and you can use 3M scratch removal system. Just run your finger along the scratch. If your nail doesn't catch, then the scratch can be removed using the kit. Start with the 3000 grit abrasive square to sand the immediate area. Once the scratch is gone, use 3M's rubbing compound with the purple pad to restore gloss to the paint. To reduce splatter, smear the compound over the sanded area and then turn on the drill. Extend beyond the repair by the width of the purple pad to make sure all the scratches are removed. Then add a quarter-size amount of 3M scratch remover to the black polishing pad and polish using light to medium pressure. Protect the repair with an automotive wax and the paint looks like new again. This tip is brought to you by 3M, Performance-Driven Solutions. This segment of Two Guys Garage is brought to you by iBrakeParts.com. For all of your braking needs, look to iBrakeParts.com, your online stopping destination.
Hey, welcome back. Now we got our exhaust system from the cat's back already out, but we're going to work our way all the way up to the engine and start pulling these big old clunky exhaust manifolds. You got that down there, Brian?
I'm working on it. You got to slide her out.
Start sliding that down. You got it?
If we can get it to spin out. There we go. Oh, can you reach it? Yeah. Oh, all right. Woo, woo. There we go.
As you can see, we got our big, heavy cast iron manifold. And, we talked about some of the flow and the benefits you get from reducing back pressure. Well, this is one place to do it. I'm going to get on the bench and show you a little more detail about what's going on this part of your exhaust.
A lot of weight, too. I'll get that other one out.
All right, sounds good. All right, I got my big, clunky cast iron manifold up here. And what we're going to do is replace it with a nice, lightweight, tubular shorty from Hedman. Now, this is a great piece. It's all stainless, 304. I've got nice, thick 3/8" flanges. It all fits in the exact same space as my originals. But I'm going to shed some weight, maybe 10 pounds off the front of that car, which is great. But I'm going to get good flow characteristics and a little bit more that I'm going to get out of this shorty here. Now, if we look at a V8 firing order, I've got 720 degrees to fire all 8 cylinders. Divided by 8 is every 90 degrees I'm going to fire. But a V8 doesn't fire evenly back and forth. It's got an uneven firing order if I look at one bank. And that bank is connected by a log. So let's walk through it. If I go 1, 8, 4, 3, that's 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. So between these two firings on a bank, I've got 270 degrees of separation. So if I go from 3, 6, 5, I've only got 180. And then when I go from 5 to 7, I've only got 90. So on a bank, I've got 3 different timings of pulses between cylinders. So 90, 180, and 270. So I've kind of laid out in order. I've got a 90 pairing of exhaust pulses, a 180, and a 270. Well, think about this cylinder. I open my exhaust valve. A lot of pressure comes out. This is what I see inside my manifold. So basically, boom, this pressure fills pretty much this whole space pretty quickly. So every cylinder is going to see that same pressure spike. Well, if another cylinder, this dotted one, starts to blow down, at the same time I'm trying to blow down this cylinder, it's going to push that hot exhaust back up into my cylinder just like this. So I'm going to trap all that hot gas again. So what I really want to do is try to separate my pulses. And that's what a shorty can start to help you do. Now check this out. This cylinder fires. It's got to go all the way down and back around. It's going to take time. And that's going to help me separate these so I can actually bleed this cylinder down, evacuate that cylinder, get all that hot gas out. Now I can get my volumetric efficiency higher, and I can get that fresh air charge in there. Now, so I've got my separation, I've got good flow. The next step is a long tube header where I'm actually tuning. And this is about what you got to package. Not always easy on every vehicle. Some of these newer ones, it's hard to meet emissions by pushing your cat that far downstream. You can't get the temperature to get it lit off. But one misnomer is guys think I'm bringing a pulse down and I'm going to create a negative pressure, which is going to pull this cylinder down. But I can't. If all these are the same length and I've got unequal firing, they're all going to come out at different times. But that's why that X pipe and that H pipe are so good. Because I've got that uneven firing on a bank, I'm able to bring them all together, and now I've got an even shot of 90-degree pulses going out the back. So that's what flow does for you, that's what separation does for you, and that's what bringing everything together does for you. So that's why you do some of these tips on exhaust, get yourself a lot more power, and that's how it works. Now, feeling a little guilty, maybe I should go over there and help Bryan actually put some of this stuff in.
This tip is brought to you by AutoGeek.net. We are car care.
Convertibles command a premium price, and today we're going to show you how to properly protect your car's convertible top. Just like your car's finish, your car's convertible top needs regular maintenance in order to keep it looking new, to protect it from UV rays, and its ability to repel water. The correct way to protect your top is to first wash the car to remove any loose dirt and debris. And during the wash process, you want to use the rag top fabric cleaner with the premium quality soft bristle brush. And what this will do is it's going to remove any dirt that's embedded into the fabric of the convertible top. Before using, shake really well, and then just apply it using a crisscross pattern and overlapping your passes by about 50%. And while you're spraying it, don't worry about getting on the glass or the paint. That'll wipe off real easy with the microfiber towel. For more information on this and more detailing tips and techniques, check out AutoGeek.net and click on Show Car Garage.
Welcome back. All right, we got our last piece of our heartthrob exhaust going in, the last of the 4 mufflers. And this is real tough. Hold on to your pants. There you go. It's in. Now the last piece is these 2 hangers. Go right on the top, go into the factory location. That's a piece of cake. And then other than that, we're just kind of we're working our way forward, tightening up the front first, and then we'll tighten up the back at the end.
Yeah, we got our Hedman Shorty header up here. Fits perfect in the Gen 5. I got my cat in the original location. Everything else is pretty much easy. I just got to wiggle things kind of where I want them, and then come in here and oops, start cinching it down. And what that means is a few more of these, we're ready to go for a test drive. Brian, let me ask you something. You got your insurance policy up to date? Yeah? All right, let's go hit it. Yeah! All right, B-Man, that's what I'm talking about. Driving in the Camaro, old school but new school. Sounding good, feeling good.
You gonna talk or drive?
Man, there's nothing like that muscle car sound, that muscle car feel, but I got all the plushness, all the technology, the stereo, I got AC, this thing rides so nice. I mean, this is a dream car right here. So Brian, you wanna drive?
Yes, of course.
Ah, too bad.
Welcome to the break room.
Yeah, first product today, this is from Satisfied Brake Products. This is their Pro Performance VS. Now VS is vehicle specific. Now if you look in here, all these compounds are made up of a lot of different elements, just like a good recipe has a lot of different ingredients, and each one of those is going to give it a different characteristic and flavor, braking performance, whether you're dusting your wheels and getting them dirty, or that squealing and noise kind of characteristics.
Yep. They're digitally verified to make sure they're going to fit your application. No matter whether it's for a DIY, for a guy at home, or whether it's a pro installer, these are going to fit for you.
Yeah, they've got all the instructions so you can do it yourself. They're quality as far as chamfering and slotting just like the OEMs. Great way to make sure your vehicle is going to live up to the way it was designed.
Yep, that's from Satisfied Brake Products, the Pro Performance VS series. On behalf of Sprint Booster USA, I'd like to thank the Specialty Equipment Manufacturers Association for this best new street performance product of 2010. Let's hear it, people.
You know, while you're thanking your mom and all your relatives, let's give the credit to these guys. This is Sprint Booster. Now, all of today's OEM cars are doing drive-by-wire, which means there's no throttle cable between your pedal, you know, and the actual throttle blade. There's a computer in between. So it's taking some sort of input from your pedal. It's deciding what it wants to do over here. So they can be completely separated. Well, there's a lot of spongy feel out there. It's like a complete disconnected feel. Well, these guys have a great interface. It just goes between your pedal, you know, and your harness.
This installs in minutes. It's a plug-and-play technology, and it rarely requires any tools at all.
And you can change the characteristics of your throttle to give you that performance feel. So you don't have that spongy, laggy feel anymore. You know, and you've got a couple of presets, so you can go from, you know, acceleration, you know, on to, you know, instant to...
Which is obviously the one you'd pick.
Yeah, and it makes a big difference on how your vehicle performs and how it feels, but it's a great way to take that, you know, blasé sort of feel that you get in your car today, that sponginess, and make it nice and crisp and snappy.
Yeah, that's a real window into the future of performance parts there from Sprint Booster USA, their Sprint Booster. All right, next up is from the Aiken Chemical Company. This is the Purple Power Prime Shine Dust Off Wheel Cleaner and their family of products.
Yeah, and these are great. You can just squirt it on. It's going to go ahead and eat away, you know, your brake dusting, all the oil, dirt, grime that's on your wheels, and you can literally just come back and hose the stuff off. Now what's also cool, it's a repellent, so it's going to keep that brake dust from sticking. So it's going to let it shed off, keep your wheels looking nice for a lot longer. So anything from your anodized, your ABS plastics, to, you know, all the clear coats you get from the factory. You know, this is from Aiken Chemical Company. It's the Purple Power Prime Shine Dust Off Wheel Cleaner.
All right, next up from LMC Truck, this is their billet aluminum grill with 4mm bars.
Yeah, this is right out of the hot rod world, but now you can get it for your truck. This isn't a plastic flimsy piece. This is all built aluminum, all the bracketry solid metal, everything's powder coated, so it's going to last. It's not going to oxidize on you. It's going to look good for a long time.
And these fit 81 to 87 GMC, Chevy, Blazer, Suburban, pickup, any of those models.
And if you need any other parts and accessories, LMC Truck has a whole lineup of stuff, catalog after catalog. Check out their website. You can get free catalogs. Check them out at LMC Truck. Yeah. Now, speaking of, when we come back, we're going to check out a lot of these new 2010 Camaro parts and accessories.
For more information about anything you've seen on today's show, check out speedtv.com or visit TwoGuysGarage.com.
That click Byrd, that's your buddy right there. You don't want your wheels falling off. Now, we've obviously got a little bit of aggressive sound going now. We're ready for some aggressive looks. And SLP Performance was nice enough to send us a cool set of machined aluminum wheels. Nice and lightweight. And you can see they use the original cap that came off the wheels, the lug nuts. You got your pressure sensor, which is inside. And we could even use the original tires, which is sweet. And it's black with a nice post-machine finish, which looks really sharp. Made specially for the Camaro. And while we're doing it, we're also going to put on this cool daddy cowl induction looking hood.
Yeah, now this is a nice, you said, aggressive looking piece that goes along with all the mods we've done so far. And this is an OE quality piece. It's made the same way they do the plastic body panels like on the Corvette. And this is resin transfer molding, so it's not chopped fiberglass, it's not hand laid up. This is done just like they do it at the factory.
That's fitting nice. And you can see there's a nice scoop up here that'll bring a little bit more air into the front. And that fits good, you know. It's got a grill that comes with it, and it's already primed, pretty much ready to go.
Yeah, you know, you can leave it nice and open. You can kind of open it up or pop that guy in to match the already look that you got.
Yeah, that looks pretty sharp.
Well, let's get that spoiler on the back. That'll kind of give us the overall look. And I tell you what, these gaps look pretty good. This thing is pretty much ready to go to paint right now.
Yeah, that looks nice.
All right, I got one last little fastener here, and if I can keep from dropping it inside that trunk lid, everything will be just fine. Great. Now, we're gonna take this old spoiler off. We got a new spoiler from SLP Performance Parts. It's gonna make it more aggressive, just like the front. And I got a little tip for you. This little interior trim piece here, it's held in by these standard clips. Get yourself a nice little tool where you can get under there and pop that dude off. Now, this is something you can get just about anywhere. And if you need to in a jam, here's actually a scraper that we ground down so we can do the same function. Pop that guy off. So now that I got all my fasteners loose, I got one little clip. There it is.
Done, done,
Pop the old
done,
guy
done,
on.
done, done.
Ready for the new one.
All right, now this is a resin molded part also. If you've got the RS or the SS, you'll already have holes here. And all you have to do, slide it on, it's ready for paint, looking good.
Yeah.
Now you'll have to drill your own if you've got the model that doesn't have the spoiler on it. But hey, it's only drilling a hole, right?
Yeah, so you can see we've got definitely a steeper rise. We're gonna get a little more downforce at higher speeds.
Yeah, looks pretty cool.
All we need is a little bit of paint, some striping, and you can see this thing is gonna start to look pretty cool with just a little bit of time into it.
I like it. I think, you know, a little paint, we're ready to rock.
Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun with us today. I know I did driving the car, and I hope you learned a lot about exhaust. Well, maybe not too much.
No, never too much, Byrd. You did a good job, man. There's a lot of good in-depth knowledge, some cool parts, and I think now we need to get out and get ourselves a brand new Camaro.
That sounds like a good idea. Well, in the meantime, we're out of time, so we'll see you guys next week.
Adios.